This whole time, everything we have ever assumed about the Upside Down has been dead wrong.
And I'll attempt to explain why. In this video, I'll be taking a look at the Piocreate Halot X1 resin 3D printer. They sent me this printer for review, and although I don't know a whole lot about 3D printing, I'll try and be as honest as I possibly can. I like the location of the information screen and the fact the USB port is on top. This is a great idea because it'll avoid getting resin on the screen. This is for the AFU unit. The on-off switch is located at the back. It's unfortunate I won't be able to show you how the AFU unit works. It would have been cool to see the way the resin was delivered. The lid seems sturdy enough, but if you don't open it all the way, the lid does want to close. These release handles make it super easy to get the tray in and out. I prefer it over the traditional screw type. The real difference between this printer and others is the build plate. As you can see, the build plate sits loose in the track. Until the printer starts printing, then these clamps hold the build plate in place. The build plate has a unique design. The models are released by twisting these two handles. The only drawback being you won't be able to print models with a flat bottom. Once the printer's turned on, there will be a few things you need to do before you can get to your first print. These are mainly setup menus, and you'll need to go through all this stuff before you can get to any printing. The slicing software that comes with the printer is Chitubox. Piocreate has their own slicing software, but to be honest, it's not good. It's not really very user-friendly and probably needs some tweaking. Chitubox is really quite simple to use, so I decided to stick with that. The upside down part of this printer is that the resin tray rises up to meet the build plate. And by doing this, this is supposed to reduce the amount of movement while printing. I didn't care for the test print that was in the printer, so I decided to print some of my own models. I also like that there's a drip tray included with the printer. This really helps to reduce the amount of resin that can drip on the machine itself. It's not really an expensive add-on, but it sure makes a difference. All the models printed successfully and were easily removed with this system of twisting handles. However, there were a couple that needed a little extra help. I find that pre-washing the models before they go in the wash station really helps reduce the amount of cleaning solution you have to use.
Remember, if you shake it more than twice, you're playing with it.
Once the models were cleaned and inspected, it was time to start removing supports. You can remove supports with a sprue cutter or a knife, but I found the best solution for this is an ultrasonic cutter. One thing I wish I would have paid more attention to was the size of the support contacts. As you can see, the support attachment areas are very large, and this can make cleanup much more difficult. You can actually do this in the slicer software, but I just wasn't paying enough attention. And as a result, I was left with a lot of large nubs to clean up. 3D printing is a great tool which can really enhance our model building experiences. The supports were my fault, but as far as the quality goes, the Halot X1 really did perform well. There are some layer lines, but that could come down to the way I did the orientation of the models. So I can't really fault the printer for that. Like I said earlier, you can use sprue cutters or a knife to remove these supports, but since I got this ultrasonic cutter, it really has been a game changer when it comes to removing these supports. The cutter has two modes of operation, a continuous cutting and a more controlled cutting. I'm using the continuous cutting mode here. As you can see, the cutter cuts through these thick supports like a hot knife through butter. And well, to be honest, you gotta be careful with the tip because it does get hot. It also comes with 6 different shaped blades, but I found the X-Acto knife looking one kind of worked best. The tool to remove the blade is stored in the top of the cap, and it's super easy to remove the blade. I had it in and out within about 30 seconds. You also get a second battery and this charging station. If you're interested in one of these ultrasonic cutters, you can use my discount code SS15 for a 15% discount. The link will also be down in the description. If you're wondering how loud this thing is, well, I thought I'd put in a little soundbite here just to give you an idea. Avoid spilling resin on the bottom of the printer like I did here. As you can see, it does stain the plastic and you can't remove it. Overall, I was very happy with the prints from the Halot X1. I think it was a really easy printer to use, and if you're new to 3D printing like me, you shouldn't have any problems running this printer. If you're interested and want to check it out for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description below. I thought it was worth doing one last test between the Haygears printer and the Halot X1. I'll be using the same resin with each printer and printing the same exact models. Blueprint Studio was used for the Haygears print and Chitubox for the Halot X1 print. The estimated time on the Haygears was over 30 hours, but it actually ended up being 14 hours. And the production time on the Halot X1 was over 27 hours. These are the prints that came off the Halot X1. The only thing that didn't work was the base. It failed. And these are the models that came off the Haygears printer. The base from the Haygears print also had a slight fail. And I'd say it was probably my fault with this as well. Orientation of the models I think is a bit of a dark art. It's one of those things that I think just takes a while to figure out. Dinosaurs fascinate me, and when I saw this, I had to print it. As far as the quality of the print, I think they're pretty much both on par. The surface detail and textures are pretty much the same on both sets of prints. In my opinion, the Halot X1 offers great quality at an affordable price. So if cost is the deciding factor, go with the Halot X1. If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing, hit the bell icon, and most importantly, give this video a like. You can also now hype my videos. This helps YouTube pinpoint who they're actually sending the video to, and I'd really appreciate you doing so. If you'd like to see more interesting content, check the video out on your screen right now, and I'll see you there.